I wanted to show you how this modified G-code that I wrote behaves with the H2D. I'll tell you a little bit more about the firmware and what exactly I have running on it, but let's just watch as it goes through its routine. So I have nylon in both nozzles, PA6 glass filled, and it's going through right now and it's finishing its tower. She immediately runs to take the excess spooge to the waste bin, and there's about a 17-second dwell with an additional retract to try and relieve some of that pressure. Now it's going to clean. This is all manually added code. And now it's gonna switch nozzle, and there's nothing that came out. Now it goes to the other nozzle, and just in case, it does a quick wipe. Now it jumps back, and there is nothing coming out yet because the nozzle is truly purged. So you need to run a slightly longer and larger prime tower to truly reprime the nozzle. This is how I'm getting rid of the problem. Again, this is nylon, so it's extra pain in the ass. And just like that, we're now printing again, and there's no big issues with the prime tower. Okay? This is still very early. I've done about 9 different revisions of this code. But what we're gonna do now is here it comes through, and it's gonna go back to the tower in a second. It's starting its second layer because they print 2 at a time. So standard H2D stuff, prints 2 layers on left nozzle, then 2 layers on the right nozzle, and they're interleaved. So that way it's never more than 1 layer height above. So here we go, we're finishing up on the second layer, and it's going to jump. Now it's just working on the tower. All right, it jumped to there. Again, this is at 17-second dwell because it is basically allowing all that excess pressure and spooge to not end up stuck to the nozzle blocker, which then ends up sticking to the other nozzle when it switches and unswitches, and that eventually gets stuck on something. So it cleans, it wipes, and it switches the nozzle, and there was nothing that came out of there. Now we go back to this nozzle, there's nothing there because it hasn't really been primed. So now it's going to have to build up that pressure again to get the pressure correct in the prime tower. And it's doing it on the prime tower this time instead of off to the side, which ends up leaving a bunch of artifacts on the prime tower, eventually knocking it over. So now it's going to finish the prime tower and jump back to the part. And you'll see it jump right back. And just like that, we're back to printing totally normal. So it takes a little bit longer, but I'm feeling pretty good about this right now.